Hi, John. Finally getting you this video from the other day. What you're seeing on the left here is Schifrin. She's making a smaller slalom turn than the larger turn that you're making on the right, but we'll look at these two images. What you see here is the position right as the edging is finishing up and right before the skis are being released, so everything will move towards the new turn. And I put a line on there so that you can see that Michaela is right in front of that power point right underneath the ball of her foot. And she's got her chest right above that line there. And as you can see, you are really quite a bit behind that line as far as where your chest position is. And so what that tells us is that you're moving back. The other thing that we could, of course, look at would be the snow spray coming much more off the front of Michaela's skis here. And then comparing that to the spray is coming off almost right underneath the toe of your skis and then real strong back through the heels of the skis. So let's go over and take a look at exactly how Michaela got herself into this position. And what we'll do is get rid of those lines for her, and we'll see that as she's skiing into the turn, the very important part to just be watching is what happens over here with her right ankle. And you'll see that if you're watching that as we go slowly forward, the ankle starts bending more forward, and that's a more acute angle that develops. And way down in here, look how much of an angle forward is on that stiff racing boot. Just really driving forward. And that, of course, is helping to keep her body moving forward over the forces that are trying to push her back and inside the turn. So that's the key idea, is can we keep our body moving over the forces that are pushing us back and inside. And the way that she does this, in addition to going forward at the ankles, is she's starting to create this angle on the right side of her body. And the way that that is happening is she's trying to tip her upper body to the outside of the turn, which of course will just keep it moving over her skis and keep it flowing right into her next turn. So the idea here, if you think about what the important moves are to keep the body flowing over the turn forces, it's just progressively and continuously flexing that ankle forward. So you can think flex, flex, and then that tipping of the upper body. You'll also notice that her leg is rather long here, not a great deal of bend in it like she's sitting in a chair. And that's one of the differences that we'll notice here on your side, where it does look much closer to a chair type position that you're sitting in versus this long leg over here for Michaela. So we'll clean up all these lines, and we'll go ahead and take a look at comparing this flexing and tipping action to what we're going to see as we back you up. And again, this is a bigger turn for you, so it's going to start way up here, but you've come through the crossover point here. Let me get you to that. And the video work unfortunately wasn't great here because I didn't change the zoom fast enough, but here you come. Alright, you're coming into the new turn, and again, if what we try to focus on is what happens here to your ankle, and we'll see that the ankle basically doesn't make any movement forward throughout this whole entire process. You're getting more inside the turn, going on to edge more and more, and that ankle really doesn't come forward. But what we do see happening is if we take a look at the knee, which the leg's rather long at this point, and then as you start coming through the turn, it's going to bend more and more and more, and that's where the hips are dropping back and all that weight is going back onto the tail of the ski. So that is the big difference that is putting you back onto the tail of your ski much more than being up on the front of the ski. And of course we talked about all of your mogul skiing in the past and that tendency to need to get the knees to bend a lot really quickly, and I think that that is just a movement pattern from your past that is really coming into play there. So let's go ahead and take a little bit more of a look at some other stuff that we can kind of look for in your skiing as we shrink you down just a little bit here. We'll get a little bit better image. And so we see as you're coming, well, let's back you all the way up more to a little bit near the top of this last turn. One of the things you'll notice here is that you are leaning very much inside the turn, and we're not seeing a lot of bending happening with your upper body over the outside ski. So in this case, that would be your left side of the body moving in that direction, and rather it's leaning inside like this. And so as you're coming through the turn, that of course is reducing the amount of edging that you're getting over the skis, and also moving the upper body more inside and back rather than over these turn forces. One of the things that happens also is that you'll notice how much you're facing the direction that you're moving in here. So your shoulders are really facing the direction you're going rather than facing more the direction of the new turn. And one of the reasons for that is that as you start dropping down at the knees, it's very hard to maintain this kind of looking down the hill position with the shoulders. As you start dropping down, everything starts looking more in the direction of the skis. So that's kind of related to dropping the knees down. And so we'll just watch as you come up and start your next turn, and this is the part that we saw where you're actually using more knee than ankle, and that would just be your biggest focus thing to be thinking about. And then we'll actually see you move into this new turn here, and right here, if you notice, you'll be able to get a view more from the back side here of how quickly that knee drops down, and then you can notice that over there at the ankle there's almost no forward movement, it's all at the knee. And at this point you'll also add in just a little bit of bend forward on this particular turn, but that's not your usual situation. And here you can see how much your body is facing across the hill in this direction. So again, just when you drop down real fast in a big range of motion quickly at the knees, you're going to lose that position where you're facing downhill with the upper body more downhill while the skis go across the hill. So alright, we'll finish out that turn, come into this next turn, and here again you can see the movement this time is almost more towards the back of the ski with the ankle rather than flexing forward with the ankle. And you can see how that ends up. This ski wants to run off in this direction while this other ski wants to turn, and that's just all the weight showing again is back here on the tail. And now as we come into this next turn, on this turn you do something that you'll do periodically, which is you've come up onto this new ski, And again, you'll see this kind of divergence where this ski's running downhill. And to help everything get going again, you throw this rotation in pretty early on this turn, taking the shoulders, starting to move them in the direction of the turn. So this one actually you don't do that. It's a big rotation move. You actually make one of your better turns right here. You can see how your skis are staying more parallel and turning together. As you're going through this turn, you can really see that movement on the outer ski. Not as much rotation there either. But now we're getting down on the flatter part of the hill and you're really not turning as much of a direction change. So anyway, just for a quick summary, the focus point is just transfer a whole lot more flex with the boot and a hole with the ankle. And you might even want to loosen that top buckle or two up just to really let you start feeling and moving a lot more and focusing in. But again, you can do this statically. You can do it in traverses, so you can build your own progression, some uphill Christies, and you know, get that ankle moving without any knee, and then start putting it back into the fall line. See if you can take it from those smaller progression of exercises, and then when you come back onto the hill, your muscle memory will hopefully not overpower what it is that you've been feeling and experiencing when you're doing the drills. So I would say drills and then back to the hills. Anyway, John, I hope that is helpful and makes some sense. If not, please get in touch with me and let me know.